Well, here we are. 2 years ago on The Tonight Show, Matt Cooper suggested when I told him that importing the third world would bring you the third world's problems, I was told to be quiet, that it was a racist thing to say and that I shouldn't say such a thing. So I responded by saying, well, Matt, wait till the stabbings start. Oh, you can't say that, Kevin, that's racist. No, it's not. It's just a fact. It's a fact based on looking at all of the countries who have been subjected to open borders since they joined the EU. You know, the EU was supposed to be about trade. It was supposed to be good for business. It was supposed to be good for every man. And it's proved that what it in fact is a club which has no regard for any of the nation states, for the customs, for the traditions, for the safety of their citizens. You know, I don't know if you know this, but the EU insists that if a member state wants to bring people to that country, they cannot do a police check on those people. That's suicide. You know, think about it. If you're a scumbag, if you want to get away from the law, if you're wanted by the law, if you're on charge for something, if you're on remand for something, if you have a criminal record, where would you go? You'd go to a country that doesn't check your credentials. So that means that that country becomes a beacon for anybody who's on the run from the law, committed a crime, trying to get away from justice. And the European Union membership means that we have no choice but to accept whoever arrives here, with or without papers. And that is going to lead to more and more problems, not just for the Irish people, but for the people across Europe whose countries are now experiencing the same thing that we are experiencing. You know, the worst thing about what happened yesterday was that what happened yesterday was eclipsed by what happened yesternight. And now the media and the politicians get to wring their hands and offer condolences and blame everybody but themselves. You know, a woman or a man would not invite another person into their house unless they knew who they were. It would be crazy to do that. And yet that's what we're being asked to do right now. And the volume is getting louder and louder and louder. So to the politicians who seek to blame other people for these deaths, for these beheadings, for these murders, for these murder of innocents, don't point the finger out. Four fingers are pointed back at you for the one that you're pointing out. So when you hear people talk about this is about mob rule, this is about the far right, bullshit. It's got nothing to do with the far right. Can we talk for a minute about the far left? I'm a 60-year-old man, and my whole life in Ireland has the left have been in power, and the left have played musical chairs with political precision, and they've moved to the left, to the right, to the centre, wherever it suits them on any given day. But the left have been in control, and make no mistake, we don't know much about the right, but we know what the left stand for. The left stand for sex education for children. The left stand for promoting one minority of the population's sexuality into the face again and again and again of the other 99%. And the pushback on that has already started. And it's very unfortunate because there's been an ambush taking place here. And the more that these agendas are pushed, the more damage they do for the very people they're supposed to be protecting. You know, the left stand for enriching bankers, the left stand for vulture fund capitalists, the left stand for never fixing the housing crisis because their mates stand to make too much money by keeping the housing crisis broken. The left stand for signing our sovereignty away, not just to the World Health Organization in this most dangerous treaty which is being currently proposed and must be stopped. To not stop this, the left have put us in a position where we can be told by pharmaceutical companies and by the corrupt World Health Organization how many vaccines we need to take, untested or tested, how often we need to take these shots, tested or untested. So we've reached a pinnacle point here in Ireland, and I think across Europe, where it is becoming increasingly obvious that our interests are not that of the governments. And the orders that are taken from Brussels and passed down and never questioned, just always gone along with, those orders are coming from unelected officials and bankers. And the consequences of those orders are what we are now facing here in Ireland and right across Europe. So when the politicians seek to blame anybody but themselves, in truth, I passed the Dáil today and they were putting a ring of steel around that. Why the sudden loss of faith? Why do they think they're in danger? Why do they think they need to protect themselves? Might it be because of what they've done to Ireland? You know, in history, Leo Varadkar will go down, and I said this years ago, as the man who destroyed Ireland. And he takes orders from his bosses in Brussels and he does what he's told. To hell with the consequences for safety of children, of adults in Ireland. To hell with the consequences of the erosion of the fabric of our culture and our tradition here in Ireland. To hell with that. These are orders coming from the top down. And whether it's this guy Klaus Schwab's praising Leo Varadkar and Trudeau and all his other class mates, the people that he put through a college of young world leaders. What are the chances of somebody who attends a college of young world leaders actually becoming a young world leader? Well, ask Trudeau. Ask Varadkar. Ask Macron. I think you're starting to get the picture here. The democracy which we're being told about does not exist. They do not count your vote. They don't care about their vote. They couldn't give a damn what Mrs. Murphy at number 23 thinks about any subject whatsoever, but they play musical chairs every couple of months, every year, to give you the impression that democracy is real. It is not. They've stolen democracy, and they've left us with the ashes, and that is what we now are left to pick up. So when people talk about what happened last night was, you know, what happened last night wouldn't have happened if those yobbos had a job to go to this morning. And the biggest mistake the Irish government ever made was to put a generation of young people on the dole, giving them just enough money to get stoned, get pissed, and avoid contributing to society. And those people, sadly, have never experienced fulfillment, achievement, because that's not on the agenda. You roll up, you get your 200 quid, and then you go back to bed. And that is the worst thing that they could have done for a generation of young people who now have no idea what it's like to achieve a goal. They have no idea what it's like to work hard for something and to get the benefits of that hard work. Instead, they're put on 200 euros a week, and their vitality, their life, their ambition, is gone. There's nothing for them to strive for because the government gives them just enough to sit on their arse and do nothing. And by the way, this project, and that's exactly what it is, this European project to bring millions more people to Europe, that is being paid for right now by you, the taxpayers. Who do you think's paying for this? And while you're paying for it, you're then told if you have any concerns at all that you're a racist, that you're Islamophobe, that you're a homophobe. No, in truth, you're just a concerned citizen of a land that we used to live in that was always safe. Sure, people got pissed and had fights, but there were no beheadings. There were no murders of innocent young teachers. There were certainly never children being stabbed in the street. So think long and hard about this scam which has been perpetrated on us, which is that democracy is real and that your vote counts and that you can effect change. In the years I've been alive in Ireland, the left have been in power, and we now know what the left stand for, and that is not for you and me and for the people of Ireland. That is to take orders from Brussels and do what they're told. When Brussels barks, Ireland says how high. You know, and we shouldn't be surprised. We have the best unemployment rates in Europe. We have the highest amount of money being paid out to claimants. We have offers from the housing minister to house anyone who wants to come here, regardless of their background and regardless of whether or not they're contributing to our way of life here in Ireland. And that is a very, very dangerous road to go down. So this guy who committed this crime yesterday, if you took one look at him, you could tell the guy was dodgy. But where else would a guy like that go? Except to a country for a better life where he will be looked after and given preference and precedence over the people of that country. And that's what our government have done. And I hesitate to use the word, but you know, when you look at the word government and you take the T off at the end, what does it say? Govern men. We have a government now who wants to tell us what to say, what to think, what we can't think, and they want us to believe what they want us to believe, not what common sense and logic tell us. So right now, I think it's time for the political establishment in Ireland to own up to the fact that they've made a complete fucking balls out of this situation and have the decency to resign now, en masse.